here, we're queer, we're black, get used to it, we're coming. So we're here today to represent the queer community within the black community, within the world, here to represent for everyone out here that has always been pushed aside and been called less than. So we're here fighting for justice, for all the people that we've lost, for all the people who won't lose ever again.
I feel like if you have a movement that says Black Lives Matter, then that must mean that all Black Lives Matter. Black trans lives, black homosexual lives, you know, cisgendered, heterosexual black lives.
But anyway, so welcome to BBE's very first live virtual podcast festival. How you guys feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good, it's good.
Yeah. Are y'all excited? Because I am.
I'm excited.
It's like I'm meeting like mini celebrities.
Really? Barely.
Yes,
Barely.
How was your journey in today?
It was stressful, so none of our trains were working.
Mm-hmm.
The alternative train wasn't working. So it was long, but we got here. Yeah. Peckham was an awkward place to get to from Hackney, but you know.
It really is, honestly. That overground actually does.
Yes, if it wasn't for that one. Even from Victoria, the train from Victoria I don't think was working. No, it wasn't. We normally go through Victoria if that was not working.
Oh, is it?
It's got
because my route was telling me to go, what's them trains? The National... Not the National Express, but like, those
Yeah. That's what we have to do that way.
Yeah. I said, no babe, I'm not doing that. Because we're going to start it off with a little scenario, instead. So, let's pretend today is the 31st of December 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you've had your parties, you've eaten, you've celebrated, fireworks have gone off. Then, obviously, you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you check your phone. And instead of seeing, instead of it saying 1st of January 2021, you've gone back in time. And it's the 1st of January 2020. Now, the catch here is you are the only person in the world, or obviously you two are the only people in the world that know that you've gone back in time.
Okay.
So with everything you know about what's happened so far,
I don't want it.
what would be the one thing you would change? Just one thing.
I mean, the obvious thing is, coronavirus. That's the obvious thing. I'm just like...
How are you going to stop that though?
Do you know what coronavirus started? Last year before. Yeah. So it would have been there already. I probably would have said everyone to stay in their house. Stay at home with their mask. Probably.
Yeah. So Boris Johnson, like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
So all of this. Oh, I'm still shaking hands. I'm still going into meetings. I'm still doing this. No, lockdown from early.
Yeah.
Lockdown from early.
Okay.
Probably because
I would have turned from my house.
Yeah.
I was just sitting in my house, turning off from there.
I think we just would have saved more lives.
But did you guys not understand how weird and crazy you guys would sound telling people to stay at home?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
But the thing is, you would have no proof, no pictures, no nothing else to show that this thing is going to happen. You just have it in your head.
Do you know what? I would tell people if they don't believe me, I'm in my house.
Do you know what? You got a point. We would sound really crazy.
Yeah. You would.
We would sound really
You
crazy.
really would, yeah. Imagine telling people that your normal everyday life is going to be disrupted forever.
Yeah.
Moving forward, you're going to be standing 2, 3, 5 meters away from your family.
Yeah.
I was deep in like 2 days ago. I was like, this year has been a mad thing,
It's been really crazy.
Like,
so good.
This is a new normal. Like,
I know.
I'm going back to work on Wednesday or Thursday, and I was thinking, am I really what am I doing? I can see a normal journey to work, but to me, it's like I'm really anxious about it. Like, just a journey to work. It was something that was everyday normal before.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when you're traveling on public transport on a normal day-to-day basis, I don't feel anxious. It's only thinking about, okay, now I'm gonna have to go back to work. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But what are you guys feeling about the new normal? Is it better for you? Has it been worse? Have you guys, had any classes?
It's so weird. We were saying the other day that we, considering everything that's been going on with coronavirus, we've actually still achieved things. I think when lockdown happened, it was we had plans. We were trying to do a Tutu's live show, our first live show. We didn't get to do it. Obviously, Corona hit. Right. But we're saying we still achieved some stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's crazy because it's hard to look at life like that in a positive light because people have died. It's been really, really sad. So it's just kind of weird for me. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that the new normal has been it's now you're able to open your eyes and look at different ways to do things.
Yeah.
And you're able to create different goals now. And I mean, we've reached goals that we didn't have before. Like, it just come, like, universe, it feels like universe just brought them to us. And I don't think it would have been possible if it wasn't. Obviously, really unfortunate this happened.
This is why it's weird.
But it's a new, I think it's a new normal. And like, we've adapted to it in a certain way. And, you know, it just means whatever happens, you can adapt and you can still succeed anyway. So, that's it.
I think that's how it's been as well for BBE in particular, because prior to this I didn't have a team that was kind of going to help me to do what I was doing, which is curate live podcasting events for those that don't know. And it's only through this whole situation that so many people have come on to help, and people are like lending a hand, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This is so weird. But you know, then on the outside you kind of, well, on the downside you look on the internet and you know, people are still losing family members, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be too out there with all my winning. It's not the time, it's not the right time.
When I think I say, this period has been quite good, like, it was even had time. But then I just think about, someone actually lost their parents, like, do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's a difficult one,
Very, very difficult one. But I'm very, very glad to hear that obviously you guys have had a couple of successes in these times, and we're going to get into them later on. Alright, so obviously you guys have a podcast. Can you give us some details on, you know, what you guys discuss on your podcast? What is it about? What got you motivated to start your podcast?
That gay shit. I'm sorry, I'm about to swear.
Okay,
we used to do YouTube before. I don't know. If
I
feel like some people don't know. But we share.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I've been a fan from day one. Day one.
Okay, day one. So we was on YouTube first, but the reason why we started doing it is because we didn't see any Black British lesbians like in media, like YouTube, music, like across the board, even podcasting. We didn't see it, so we was just like, there is a market here. We just stepped into that market, you know, and we just.
And what was the reception like when you stepped into it?
With YouTube, it was positive. I think that the majority of it has been positive, but the bigger you get, the more some people want to bring you down. So like, I would say only during this Corona time, we've had a few. They think they're nice. So I was like, we're great. So
I mean, they wouldn't be saying that if you weren't great.
It's true. Like, but we're welcome to all sort of criticisms anyway. So
But our aim is just to inform and educate people. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the LGBT community, especially us being in the Black community as well. So it's just to inform, like, because we're Black people, innit? We love our Black people. Do you know what I'm saying? But sometimes the homophobia and the transphobia is too much. So it's just like unprovoked. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we're just here to like educate people and inform people about something.
Okay. And what kind of topics do you discuss, obviously, for people that might not be aware of what you kind of talk about?
Everything from being lesbian, gay, trans, intersex, talking about the scene. We talk about like giving coming out stories, anything in our day-to-day lives. And we also try to invite our people. Obviously, like, for example, we're not Muslim, but there are gay Muslims out there. So we have Muslim come on before. Anyone from the community who is marginalised, we bring them on the podcast.
That's amazing. And I think that's like partly the reason why I wanted you guys to be involved in this podcast festival, because I always kind of try to make sure that I can have different people from different backgrounds just doing amazing things. And I think you guys doing what you do on Two's podcast is just, it's amazing, because it's like you're opening up a little safe space for all the little gay kids to be like, oh my god, we actually have people out there that are going through our struggles or have gone through our struggles, and because as with everything in life, it's always male dominated. Always.
Even in our community as well.
It's always white gay men.
So I really love that you guys are kind of like dismantling that image, and you're like, you know what, we're going to use our voices, we're going to say our shit, and you know, whoever doesn't like it, go to the next one, go to the next podcast, right? Yes, I love it. I love it. So I think I got you guys to do some little homework.
I was up last night doing some homework. This girl was, where were you?
So she's the one that turns up to the nothing, but wants to take the credit.
No, let me do that, because she does come with some stuff, you know what I'm saying? She's not completely useless.
What was I doing last night?
Were you somewhere?
I wasn't actually.
Okay.
No, my cousins visit him. I was entertaining. And I was doing DIY work.
Of course. You know, they always have so many excuses. Just
All the time,
everything is
everything
just popping out.
Such is life. That's such is life.
Okay, so can you guys name me maybe 2 or 3 of your favorite LGBTQA activists?
Okay, I'm my new favorite one now. Me.
Wait a minute. Pause the damn show.
Wait a minute. Look here, I've been doing alright. Do you know what I mean? I really have. Okay, that's fair. She could be one of mine. I would say me. Yeah. Especially because I feel like I was. To start the therapy fund, I was definitely thrown in the deep end because all of this wasn't the plan. Like, now it's registered on company's house, all of that. That wasn't the plan.
Yeah,
I've been doing alright. I got a full-time job. I'm doing alright.
Yeah.
So, not that
You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
So me,
Yeah.
who else is
Monroe.
there? Monroe Begdorf,
Yes.
and Spiritual Baddie. Spiritual Baddie, not many people know who they are, and they are a non-binary black person who grew up Rastafarian, has a Rastafarian dad, and they just expect, they have a lot of good energy and good vibrations, and they'll do panel talks sometimes, but they're not that known. We've actually done a panel with them before. And
really?
Yeah, like, we've actually done a panel with them before. We did a video with them. And it was about love. The video we did about love. Yeah, they were on that. So yeah, they're lit. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with Rosie's.
Yeah, no.
Rosie, Monroe,
Yeah.
and
You didn't know it's called to you. Spiritual Baddie.
Woo, child. You know, this is not really my lane, but you know.
I like the activists that are not cisgendered, because it's really hard for them to be black and non-cisgendered. For us, I feel like because we are cis, we have things a little bit easier than them.
Definitely.
So for them to step out and like do the work, I love it. Just come there, I love it.
Recognise that privilege of them.
Nice. Okay, well the reason why I got you guys to do that homework is because I wanted you guys to kind of give us an overview, brief little history on the UK Black LGBT communities. Well, the movement and the history of the LGBT leaders. So go ahead, take it away.
You know what? I think a lot of people would think that it's non-existent because
that's the thing.
This is the thing. Like, I think for me, even when you sent me like the list, I was just like, I do not know any. Do you know what I'm saying? I do not know any, and I did my research obviously, and just found that like there was some work, but it just went undocumented. Like there were.
And I think that's sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's like one of the biggest issues that we have as Black people.
Yeah.
All over. Like
our
there's
history.
so much and it's undocumented. It's there, but it's just not brought to the forefront. And that really irks me. And it really irritates me. So I was like, you know what? I need to get y'all to come in here and teach people.
Yeah. So you know, you would think that there was, you know, Black people weren't doing any work, but in the 80s there was work, because I feel like because there was at the forefront, it was the white gays at the forefront of, you know, marching and protesting for the rights of gay people, LGBT people. I think Black people got excluded, Black queer people got excluded from that. So they made their own group called the Black Lesbian and Gay Centre Project, and that was formed in the 1980s, and they all came together like just to like support other Black gay people, but you wouldn't know that. Do you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know that. I only know that because there's a documentary on YouTube. I can't remember what it's called. I found out the name, but there's a documentary on YouTube where some of the former members, came and they started talking about, you know, what the work that they actually did. So there just isn't enough information. It's really, really sad.
I don't think the information is really documented further than UK Black Pride starting.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's the thing, because I think
like even UK Black Pride, I feel like only I would say the last 5 years that people have really known what it is and it's about. It's actually been going since 2005.
5 years.
Yeah,
what?
No. Yeah, but only I would say the last 5 years or so. I think the first time I went was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And,
But before that, I don't know if it was because there was much.
But it was smaller back then. It was smaller because the first one was like a Brighton Day.
Yeah, it was a beach. Brighton.
Yeah, so there's probably not a lot of people that went.
Yeah.
But it's grown since. It's what, 15 years?
Yeah.
So it's grown a lot. And obviously the last Pride, they moved it to a bigger space because it just grew so much, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that obviously the attitudes in the black community back then, very similar to the mental health issues in our communities, that everything is very hush-hush, it's just kind of, you know...
The people that started UK Black Pride, obviously Lady Phil, and these were people that were older, had to come out to their families, like black family members, and obviously Lady Phil's Ghanaian as well, like that probably wasn't an easy process for her, and so they had to do just something on the side of maybe their everyday life, and just have their own space, and obviously when you start stuff like that, it's going to be you and your friends, it's not really going to be, and social media wasn't what it is now, so I think social media helps as well, to be fair, because even Black Pride, some people say, I didn't know, like I just saw it on Twitter. That's how everyone knows about Black Pride now.
That's what I saw it as well. Because I remember, I don't remember what me and my girlfriends was doing, but we was doing something, and I was like, well, let me go on Twitter, see, you know, what's going on, and that's when I came across Black Pride, and I was like, wait a minute, this exists?
Big right. I think it got really big in like last 2 years. The one, not last year, the one before, it was too many.
It was so packed. It was ridiculous. It was actually too packed.
I was like, what is going on? And they were just, everybody was there, like whether you were gay or not. I saw some Twitter guys there. I was like, what are you doing? We're just here to support, and it was lovely to see. And it's nice that it's become what it is now in Haggerston Park. It's more like a festival kind of vibe now.
It's nice.
And what month is it usually in for people that don't know?
The first weekend of July, because Pride Month is actually June, so
okay, so it's just kind of like trickling up.
But it's like one thing that stood out to me, like doing all the research as well, is that like there wasn't spaces for black queer people. The guy in the documentary is called Under Our Noses.
Where can people see that?
On YouTube. So you just type that and you can find it on YouTube. And the guy was like, you had to like have a secret door knock to get into places. Yeah. Right.
I'll get you in.
Right. Yeah. So there was that, and like there was a lot of spaces for more predominantly gay people, gay men, than there was for like lesbians, and also being black on top of that, being a black lesbian on top of that, going into those queer spaces, you know. And there was one of them who was actually a member of this Black Project Centre that said she would go in her full, she's Bayesian, but she'd go in her full African, you know, back in the day, they would rock like kente and shit, back in the day. So she'll go, and then the white people would just be looking at her like, what are you doing here?
So like, it's not because even when you think back to Stonewall, the Stonewall riots, where Pride even started from, the police were raiding gay bars, and even trans people were not allowed in those gay bars before. It was only for gay men.
It was only for gay men. There was segregation,
There's a big divide between anybody who's of colour and the white gays.
It's an overarching theme across the whole community that's kind of like, there's a hierarchy of race.
For a community that is meant to be so loving and supporting of one another, we net each other back.
Yeah, that was just for gay men. And obviously Marsha P. Johnson was one of the people that started the riots, and that was a black trans woman as well. But that space wasn't even hers.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? In the end, you know, they obviously opened up the space, but originally that space was not for her, but she went there and she fought for it. And now we have Pride.
Right. You see, black women forever doing things.
I know, right?
I love it. I actually love it. It's actually very interesting to kind of like find out that in a movement that is about breaking away from the normal, there is still those sort of aspects of the normal kind of seeping into it, you know, the whole, you know, men dominating the scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's still there today.
Yeah, even within the community there are problems, politics.
Yeah, we did a video, like a Pride video with other podcast creators, and the majority were white gay men.
I think it was us and
another
2 or 3,
couple, but they were white. But everyone else was like, and there's even a straight man in there as well.
Enough space.
There's a straight man in there too. But like, for me, that was representative of the gay scene as a whole.
Absolutely.
Like, there's actually just one black.
Tokenism.
Do you think that will change? Like obviously with the new age that obviously that we're kind of bringing in, and our kids' generation, well not our kids so much, but maybe our generation.
A Pride list came out today. LGBT most influential people list came out today. And I feel like right now we're in a time where things are beginning to change with regards to like race and relationships and stuff. But in this list, even though we are just coming out of this race conversation,
there's still not
they just had Lady Phil. Lady Phil. It's easy to pick Lady Phil because we're not just starting Black Pride. But there's literally like how many people? There are so many black gays doing stuff out there, but all the white people.
But do you think it's because I partly think that the reason why that is, this might be a little bit controversial, but I feel like because they're not in our spaces, they don't really get to see what we're doing. So they're none the wiser, because even when I'm curating podcast events and I'm like, okay, I want to get a podcaster that fits this description, I'm looking around, I was seeing, because BBE targets Black podcasters and influencers.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, we're here for the people. I find it so difficult to find Black podcasters that fit that script. If you get what I'm saying. So when it comes to them, it's like sometimes I can kind of understand it from that perspective. But obviously, all it takes is a little bit of research, because I feel like once you do the research and you kind of connect, especially where social media is so interconnected, you can go this person's profile, see who they're following, and kind of take it from there.
I guess you can't really find something you're not looking for.
I was just about to say they're not looking. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what it is, because you find it if you look.
Yeah, if you look.
Yeah.
That's right. That's very right. Oh, she shot my shit down. Girl,
Kindly.
I love it. Do you guys feel like, because this is something that I felt for a while, but then, again, this might be a little bit controversial as well, but there's this thing that a lot of people do online where they Americanize the Black American experience and they apply it to here. And they do that all the time, and it's something that annoys me, and unfortunately I can't really sort of go too deep into my thoughts on that, but do you guys feel like with the LGBT community, especially the Black community, is that process there? Do you guys feel like there's the Americanization of, because they struggle that, we struggle with, but
100%. Even down to like the way we identify, like when they say stars, films and stuff, that is an American thing. And
we don't identify it with that.
Like even like when you being fluid and stuff like that, Americans don't really identify with that.
Really?
Yeah, like it's actually different, but when we were coming out and we're trying to find people like ourselves, go YouTube, it's Americans that we see. So when they sit there saying, I'm a stud, that's who I am. Yeah, exactly. I'm a stud as well. So like, I mean, there's that. I think that it's a bigger country as well.
Yeah,
so they have more reach. They have more people to reach. So I mean, it's kind of easy to draw on their experiences, but ours are different, and that's why I think the platforms are so good.
Right. That's one of the reasons why we decided to go on YouTube, because all we saw on YouTube was like
good.
Like American studs, and even like we had an American on our podcast actually. And yeah, a lot of that things are just really black and white for them. It's just like stud, femme. There are no like real in betweens, like even the non-binary thing and everything. Like
I'll give you
they're still catching up.
I've got a friend who lives in America now, and she dated someone who, so they identify as a lesbian,
right?
But when they describe how they feel about themselves, it sounds like they're they're non-binary, and then also it seems like they're also intersex as well. But for them,
they don't have the language.
The language is not there. They just I'm a girl, but treat me like a guy. That's what it was. And she was really confused. She was like, what do I call her? But she didn't want to be called her. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's a female pronoun. So if you're a girl, why do you want to be a female pronoun? So like they just don't have the language, and they're very different over there. Like, they just said, I got some boobs. So I was shooting. But over here, boobs, your body parts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't equate to that.
Right.
So and that was their personal experience, but they still don't have the language for their own personal experience. But yeah, so that's just one difference like there between us and them.
Yeah. Personally, like I really feel, although I don't like it on the one hand, I love it because then it means that we can kind of like explain our issues in a way that people can understand, and then you can kind of see that it's a global issue that we're kind of facing with.
And it's so different. I saw, I don't know what his name is, but I saw Damson Idris. Shout out to Damson. He's beautiful. He was like doing some podcast, I think it was. I don't know who his guest was, but the guest was American, and the guest was saying he had a hard time with British black people saying that they were black, using the term black to describe themselves, and it doesn't make any word.
But go on, finish.
For me, it doesn't make sense because. I guess because he says we know where we come from, so we know we're African, we're Caribbean, but we're all black even it doesn't matter. Even
But
when
they
from
think
Brazil
they
or
think
from wherever, we are all.
They're saying that black is an experience, though. That's why they say that.
Bruv.
And obviously, our experiences as
It's
black
different.
Brits is not the same as their experience. So what they think is a black experience, it's not what our black experience
Right.
is.
But it's still a
That's
different
why.
black experience.
Yeah.
It's still a black experience because we're black and we're treated by, you know, on the basis of our skin, which is black.
At least in the Western countries.
Yeah, because like back home, there's no such thing.
There's no,
Yeah.
because I was born in Uganda, which is where I born and raised. And I came here when I was 12, and it was only when I came here that everything just felt weird.
Yeah.
Like, why am I?
But in
I'm black
Uganda,
now, yeah.
are white people treated differently? Are they put on a pedestal?
Oh, darling, of course they
Exactly.
are.
So there's still a difference there. So that you're still making a, you know, you're still saying that person's white and I'm black. You're still making that, you know, that
I think
distinction.
for back home, we're Africans and they're white. So it's more about
And it's not
continent
institutional
thing,
as well. Like, you know, when you go there, if you go to find a job, you don't have to worry that you might not get a job because you're black.
Yeah.
Do you know
You
what I
go
mean?
in there.
Yeah.
But they're still treated
yeah.
better if you go into a restaurant. Well, I don't know if this happens now, but a lot of time I've heard stories about, you know, black person going into African going into a restaurant and then give up the seat to the white person, or so there's still, you know, there's still differences there that, you know, you can say I'm different from that person because I'm
It's
treated
another black
differently.
experience.
It's another black experience.
There we go.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like, you know what? Why can't we just have life easy? I honestly really wish we.
I have £1 million there.
I really wish.
Emergency fund.
Like, it's actually even sad, even thinking about like the household income and how what is it? Is 10p to a pound for black people?
Black
What? Say that
Black
again?
black person has 10p, white person has a pound.
Yeah, so every pound
we have 10p.
We only earn 10
Yes.
p.
So you're thinking about that?
Top
They've
three
had how many years of a head start?
About 3, 4,
Down to
500,
hundreds.
600.
Hundreds.
There you go. Like we're not just playing victim or just, you know, making things up. We're not.
We are genuinely paying catch up.
Yes, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh my god. I can't. You know, sometimes you just like think of stuff and
It's too much. If you think about all of these things, you go crazy.
enough.
I had during this Black Lives Matter movement, there was a day where I was so fed up. I was like, this world it sucks, man. Like people are just so greedy and all they care about is power and money. There was a night where I ran to Rosie and started bawling like a baby because I was like, I'm so tired of this shit.
Yeah.
I'm so
honestly,
tired.
like, and the thing is, I rely on social media a lot to help me, obviously, you know, find podcasters like yourselves to have on my to do business with, or you know, whatever the hell. And I hate that I have to rely on it so much because it means in moments like, obviously, with the current situation of, you know, the Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot, it's like every single day I go on there, something is happening.
So much.
Can it just stop?
I feel like it's.
I feel like
down
somebody
past
like
week,
opened
but that's
a
it.
portal. Oh, no, it hasn't. I don't think so.
Though I still see some things. I mean, it's not as much
Do you know how I
as.
knew it? I think was done at when I saw Christian Twitter going for it. I was like, do you know what? Everyone's got problems now.
Straight
Twitter.
I saw the day. I missed it.
Yeah, I just saw that somebody put a statement out. Like, I didn't even understand what he was even talking about because I don't follow them like that.
Right.
But they got problems. If they got problems,
Everyone's
we
got
got problems
problems.
too.
Listen, no one's perfect, you know. No one is perfect. Problems.
Actually, just touching on the Black Twitter thing. So Spotify, obviously, in the midst of all this, of the entire situation, they decided to curate what they call the Black Twitter playlists on Spotify. The first time I saw it, I said, y'all are tripping. So I closed it up because I thought maybe I'm just tripping that. Because I was on Twitter, so I'm like, maybe I'm just tripping. So I closed it. And I opened it back up again, and it said the same thing, Black Twitter playlists. And that really triggered me because I'm like, what the hell do you mean? What's the Black Twitter playlist? What does that mean?
Yeah. Why is it a thing?
Why is it a thing, right?
I don't know.
Do you know what? We're always, I don't know, we are the culture, right? I say this and I'm not apologizing
Say
for
it again.
We are the culture. And that's the thing, like, people enjoy us. But our lives don't matter. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah.
Like, people really enjoy us. This whole, you know, Spotify Black Twitter, that's interesting.
Why does it need to be separate?
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, because it's the music on there was not any different to the music they have on all the other playlists.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? And this whole performative support help thing,
A lot of brands are doing it. A lot of brands
I think
are doing it.
they try to
irritates me.
Like they try to put us in a bubble so we don't succeed out of that bubble. So if they
100%,
like this playlist, if you're on this playlist, you made it, but you made it in the Black Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, the Black.
We've given you your props,
Yeah.
but it's gonna stay in the
Not
Black
in your own
Twitter.
right. Not in your own right.
Yeah, like it's just stays in that sphere. Sorry, it stays in that sphere. But like, if you put us in the mainstream now, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
I don't want us,
But this is always to keep,
That's the
keep
thing,
us down.
It's like we'll just feed you these little
Yeah.
crumbs.
Yes, right.
Just to keep you full
Yeah.
for now. We're not gonna teach you how to make the bread.
Yeah.
We're just gonna give you
It's
the.
definitely put us in their mentality. So even when I think about people's businesses, and I think about like even like podcasts and YouTube channels, I feel like when they do that, they make us think that our audience is only within that world.
Right.
And even when you think of like Instagram business, like hair business and stuff, they're called Instagram business. Why do they need to be called an Instagram business?
Yeah.
It's just a business. Like Instagram hairstylist.
I think we've got about maybe 25 minutes left,
Yeah.
which is totally fine. Did you guys see on Twitter the UK Black Lives Matter situation?
Well, with money, nobody knows where the money's going.
That.
That's why I'm glad I didn't.
See, I love to support, but I've always been very critical of people supporting movements and platforms and people that don't have a face to the movement, if that makes sense.
People always say that.
And to me personally, especially when it comes to things relating to the Black Lives Matter, because obviously, as we know with the internet now, it's an algorithm, and anything that has Black Lives Matter or anything that says black, people are instantly going to flock to it.
Yeah.
And so one of the criticisms I had about the hashtag Blackout Tuesday was similar to the criticisms I have for the Black Lives Matter campaign, or whatever they are. That a lot of people just kind of flock to it and you support without really knowing what's going on behind the scenes, who's created it, why have they created it, and who are the people that are really pushing this thing. And obviously, for those that don't know, Black Lives Matter the UK Black Lives Matter movement, they've raised what? Was it $1 million?
I think it's like 800,000 now.
Right.
But that's what it was last week.
Yeah, that's what it was last week, and there's been criticisms that obviously they fundraised all this money, but nobody knows where it's going.
Right.
And
that they're not black also.
And there's all kinds of
Right.
stuff.
They're not all black.
Right.
And some of them have dropped out.
Right.
No explanation why.
No explanation. And the lovely ladies, and I would really, really love to speak to them. They've said they're not going to speak to anybody about it, which obviously raises even more questions around what the hell is going on, y'all.
Do you know what? Yeah, I feel like there's a safety thing around it, because even if you look at the American Black Lives Matter movement over the years, most people at the forefront are now dead. Somehow they died.
Black Panthers as well, like the FBI were tapping their phone lines and all of that stuff. So we understand.
So I understand that you don't want to be a face of it, but be as transparent as you can. That's where they failed. Like nobody, even the fact that they came up to a statement. My thing is, we didn't even know who you were. So why'd you come to a statement?
Right.
Like what is that? So
Exactly.
So there's that, and then like where the funds actually, because I'm fundraising GoFundMe, I know that GoFundMe has probably frozen their account.
Oh,
if you're not transparent, GoFundMe will freeze your account until you're able to pass their verification checks.
Right. Okay.
So I know that money probably ain't left at GoFundMe. Do you know what I mean? Because I have to go through it too.
Right.
I have to verify and everything like that.
Yeah.
So if you're not
Sorry, hold on. Let me just pause you. So does GoFundMe check in to social media to see what's going on with?
I'm not sure how they do it, but they do say you flagged up. They that so that.
Is it when you reach a certain mark, then they kind of flag you up, or is it just a check?
I think it's a certain mark, and they also see if you've been updating people that have donated. So, like for example, I think I have updated people in about a week or so, and they emailed me and were just like, we need to know like where this money's going and why you're raising the money. Because I would just say I'm raising money for therapy. And they were like, no, we need to know how much the therapy is, who's going to, how many people they need to know. And because these guys, they haven't said what organisations are going to receive this fund. I wouldn't be surprised if GoFundMe asked them questions.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. And they're going to ask questions that we want to know. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to know.
The public that's
going.
Right. And I mean, one of the reasons why I was particularly critical of that is because I know that I think they founded the UK Black Lives Matter movement around the same time that the Americans did, back in like 2013 or however long ago that was. And they fundraised money from that, and they've been fundraising money since.
Where's the last time?
Girl,
Who knows?
that's the issue I have, because you have this thing called UK Black Lives Matter, but you have people that have been deported.
Right.
Because of the Windrush scandal.
Yes.
You're not saying shit.
Right.
You have Grenfell survivors, kids that need therapy, X, Y, and Z. They ain't got shit.
Speak on
You
it.
had people that needed to be, rehoused and blah, blah, blah. Nothing.
Yeah.
You have kids that now, because of COVID, they can't access certain equipment, so laptops, Wi-Fi, basic things. I have kids, because I work in education, and I might just cut that out. Hating ass motherfuckers. But I work in education, and there's kids that I spoke to that said, "Oh, miss, I don't have a laptop." I said, "So how are you doing your work?" I'm using my mum's phone.
Wow. Mom's phone.
So you have kids that don't have that equipment. Well, obviously, okay, fair enough, Corona is a new thing. We get it. But you have all these different revenues of people needing support, black people needing support, and they're not doing anything with the funds that they collected back then and now.
Even between them and now, like when people do things with their funds, they're quite transparent about it. They say, help this business, this amount of money. We haven't seen none of that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know there was a UK Black. I didn't know there was one.
There is,
No, UK.
Black
I mean, sorry, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I didn't know until one of them said that they were
they weren't part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, so just this year?
Recently when they put out their statements to say they
Uh-huh.
left the situation. Me personally, I'm not in support of it.
I've never. At first, when they first kind of came up with the with the whole movement thing, and I call it movement because Lord knows.
We know what's happening.
We don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's not for the Black lives, though. And it really, really irritates me that people constantly get so blinded by these little buzzwords of Black lives. Oh my God, we need to go there. Hashtag Blackout Tuesday. Oh my God, let's supposed to. And it just frustrates me because. And I just want to tell people, in the future, if you're supporting a platform or a brand that's claiming to be doing things for black people, just do some research. Because 9 out of 10 times, you have the ladies here that are fundraising for the Black LGBTQA therapy fund.
Do you know what's mad? There's people that are not black have applied. I'm looking at the application. But that's how you know they've been able to access things before that is not for them, because it's politically black. This one is not politically black, and that's the thing. This is why I hate.
What the hell does political blackness mean?
That's
something I've never.
Mate, it's an umbrella for us all, Asian, black, everybody. No, it's what's been happening.
It's BAME.
It's POC.
Because even if you think about it, UK Black Pride is BAME.
It's BAME.
It's POC. It's BAME as well.
Yeah, it's for Asians, it's for Latin Americans, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that's not white.
That's how people.
That's political black.
I looked at the stats today, thinking, okay, I looked at how many people are applied and how many black. Why the black section wasn't 100%? But I'm not black. It was only 86%.
Excuse me, so what? About something 12% or 18% or however much?
Yeah, whites have applied.
It's quite audacious.
More Asian people than white people. It's because they used to being able to access funds that are fundraised for black people, because it's become under this BAME. Even other charities I've reached out to, they say, "Oh, we're glad to know that you're helping the BAME." I have to email them back and say,
"It's black."
And this is the thing, we need to distinguish it, because again, we'll go back to the household income. There are Asian people who they're higher up. There's the whites and there's the Asians, then it's us. So we do have different experiences. So she's fundraising for black people. That's what it is.
And I just, UK Black Lives Matter, I got a bone to pick with y'all. For real.
We need the answers though,
for real. We actually need those answers. The money they've been fundraising all this time, I secretly feel like that whole campaign movement thing is a way to launder money. I feel like...
Do you know what, when you're saying that, having a face to a campaign and whatnot, this has actually worked in your favour. Definitely works in your favour. And obviously, Rosie has been very transparent with what the money is going towards, and even there's different elements of this charity. It's not just...
It's not going to just be therapy.
It's not just therapy. There are different elements, where this money is going to. So she's been very, very transparent. And I think her sort of being the face of it has helped, and at the end of the day is to help people. That is what it's doing. So I think it's brilliant.
For me, it's we only did it yesterday. I was like, wow, like 71k has been raised because this amount of people actually trusted me with money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I haven't seen that money.
Say that figure again.
£71,878
Oh God, it just
has been raised. It's mad. It's crazy. It's meant to be one. It was meant to be one grant, and now it's this, and it's become something that I didn't plan. There was no mood board. There was nothing. Now it's there.
You literally just put it out to the universe and said, help. And the universe said, baby, we'll help you.
It's gonna. I'm gonna try to sustain the fund for as long as I can.
Right.
Like I said, it's not gonna just be therapy, but the plan is to do workshops for career development. Because it's all good having therapy, but if you go back to having no job, like what is that? It's just a continuous cycle. So I want to have workshops to give people life skills, as well as therapy. So. Yeah, it's gonna be lit.
That's amazing. I'm actually so excited. I'm so excited. I follow Rose on Instagram, and I remember when I think it was the 10k post.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was
oh
one
my
of the
God,
first ones.
Yeah.
Even 10k, like, wow.
Wait, so you 10k before?
It's amazing, and I was just so proud, and I was so happy that this was obviously happening, and that's obviously partly the reason why I wanted to kind of do like a little mini thread and try to be like, guys, look at the amazing stuff that Black people have been doing through lockdown. But then I was like, you know what? People have lost family and friends. Relax,
it's hard. Even when I'm even when I'm giving like updates about the funds and like. Obviously, I wrote an article British Vogue, but even when I'm doing stuff like that, it's like, I just feel
bad, isn't it?
But you know what? It's happening, so I need to talk about it.
Obviously, there's a lot of madness going, but we need to put those positives out there.
To give people some hope as well.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, when we do kind of make that transition back into normal life, people are going to need to know, okay, where can I go for this? Where can I go for that? And it's great that now you have this, the fund to support these people that now they, for however many months they've been living with their families, and Lord knows the toll that's been taken on their, their personal selves. Because imagine like being at home and you can't fully be yourself.
A lot of the people that have planned for it are facing stuff like that. So a lot of them are like, I've had a hard time during quarantine.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, when it came to mid-March, because I work in education, and I think we were let off work mid-March. So for those last 2 weeks, I was at home, and I think it was right at the end of March that I was like, okay, so lockdown is actually a real thing, and I need to pack my shit. I need to get out of here because I cannot stay with my family throughout the situation being there 24/7. So I can only imagine, other people that are obviously facing, certain issues in their families with homophobic parents or, whatever. And the fund. Oh, may the Lord bless you.
I'm excited for that. Like the help is gonna do. It's gonna be like on a 12-week rolling basis.
Right.
So every 12 weeks, 10 more people are gonna go into therapy.
Right.
And I'm excited. I'm nervous. Right. Yeah, but I'm excited. Yes.
Oh my God, I would love to come in when you guys unleash the whole thing. Oh my God, this is just amazing. I love it. So what are the plans for Tuesday podcast in the future? Have you guys been recording during?
Oh my God, we've been recording for 6 months. We just stopped last week.
Oh wow.
To have a 2-week break. But the plan is we're gonna come back to YouTube eventually as well. After our break, and continue YouTube and Spotify and Apple and all them things there. And we're gonna just continue telling stories, talk about people's lives, hopefully giving people confidence to be themselves. And one thing I would say is we've been able to have international guests now. So before, international guests was not part of the plan.
You could have been people there. How are you going to do it logistically?
Exactly, but Zoom, obviously with Zoom, hold on, we can have international guests. So we've had people on we would not have had before. We had a guest that lives in Nigeria.
Wow.
And that was sick. That was sick.
Crazy.
That was amazing.
Right.
We've had a trans-American reach out to us that lives in America, so they want to come on as well. And it's just the reach has been really good because of it. We tried to have a Ghanaian one, by the way. We'll try again. The connection.
One was at work. The manager came. It's mad because she was at work and then she can't talk about her sexuality because she's in the closet.
Oh god.
So like their podcast is anonymous. So there's I think there's 5 of them on the pod, but they're anonymous. Yeah. So they have different names on there and they also distort their voices on the pod as well. Yeah.
Oh my god,
so
that's crazy.
So we're trying to like record with them and hold on, my manager's coming. Yeah. And it was just like, it's not working out. But we'll try. But that even shows like the experiences they have over there and the privileges we have over here. Yeah. They couldn't even talk freely. Right. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the thing. And we can sit over here and talk about this.
We are lucky, you know. We are lucky.
Oh,
we're gonna have a live show, so that's what I'm really excited about because it's gonna be lit. Yeah, we're gonna have a live show. Our live show's already mapped out, plans. You know, we just need girls to get on. Yeah. I know Events Dreams is coming back. Yeah, we've got an event as well, all-inclusive event called Dreams. So yeah, you know, we're excited. Yeah. Excited about the future.
Just Miss Corona needs to hurry up and go. And go, honey. Go back.
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, that will probably conclude our session for today. I tried to get a backup camera. I hope that has sufficed, but I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Honestly. But I just want to say thank you very much, ladies, for coming today. I hope you enjoyed yourself because I have.
Yeah, I think it's good combo, isn't it? Yeah, I wish you came earlier.
Amazing. So where can the listeners, the people watching, where can they find you? You know, your details, the fund, if people want to drop in a few more coins.
I think drop some coins. Is it closed? It's closed, but I'm gonna be open for monthly donations. People have offered monthly donations. Yes. So I'm setting that up like the bank and everything like that.
That's amazing.
It's gonna be real official. This is gonna be real official. And we're a company's house, so it's gonna be real official. But so you can find the fund on Twitter, Black LGBT Fund. There's no Instagram page yet, but by the time this comes out, there will be an Instagram page with the same ads. Right. Podcast 22s_podcast on Twitter. 22s podcast on Instagram.
Where can people stream? Where can people stream your podcast?
Spotify. Make sure you go to Spotify.
Yes,
the new one. And Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. We're on Google, Anchor. Basically all of them, but not SoundCloud.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Why are you not on SoundCloud?
Because we use Anchor to upload and it just doesn't upload onto SoundCloud. Yeah. We used to be in the SoundCloud, but we changed.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, ladies, and we'll conclude this episode.
Bye. That was great. That's fun.
Damn camera. It's shaking me.
Myself, a lot of emphasis has been put on to coming out, pressuring people to come out, or pressuring people to put a label on themselves, and not actually allowing them to authentically grow. Because me 10 years ago and me now. It's a completely different person. The core of me is still the same, but there are several more layers, and it's important that we're allowed to express that. So well, how about yourself, actually?
I would say definitely at this point I am queer, but it's queer beyond the being invested and I don't know, in terms of loving a romantically someone who is of same sex. It can also be queer of mind in terms of not even like tolerant, but just accepting.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned not using the word tolerant, because I feel I have a really big tension with that word when we're talking about queerness, when we're talking about gender, when we're talking about non-gender. I think that who wants to be tolerated? Nobody wants to be tolerated. It's either you want me here or you don't. No, there is no middle ground with certain things. And I think absolutely it's about acceptance. If you don't accept, then we need to have different conversations. So I'm so glad that you mentioned